What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, bringing you some Dragon Ball FighterZ, but this is a completely different video than anything I've ever done before, and this is something that in the past I kind of shied away from, and I don't really have any number one reason why. There's a few different reasons I could think of, but I mentioned this before in a video as it being something that I would like to do and try out at some point in the future, and some of you guys in the comments expressed interest in it. I'm actually live right now on Twitch as I record this. Twitch.tv/LotusAsakura, links in the description down below. You know how that go. Anyway, but something I want to start doing here on the channel, instead of just always playing DBFZ, I want to talk about DBFZ and honestly take a look back at some of the most amazing moments and some of the most exciting stories and lore from DBFZ back in like 2018, 2019, season 1, season 2, you know what I'm saying? Because we're creeping up on Dragon Ball FighterZ 5th year. That's right, January 26, 2023, in just a few more months, Dragon Ball FighterZ will officially be 5 years old. And it's crazy to think that so much time has already gone by, but in those 5 years, we've had some incredible moments, some really amazing sets, crazy lore, rivalries, upsets. Like that's just a lot of people coming into their own, making a name for themselves in the FGC or in fighting games or in content, myself included. And yeah, man. So basically, I want to start doing a series where I take a look back at some of those moments and some of those matches from earlier DBFZ and maybe some other games as well, maybe some other things. Who knows where this can go? But I figured one of the first ones I want to go back to is one of my classics, one of my favorites, and that's Winter Brawl 12 back in 2018, Chris G versus SonicFox. Now, at the time, right, this is Winter Brawl, so this is really early. This is, matter of fact, when was this video uploaded? This is on Team Spooky's channel, February 25th, 2018. So this is not even a full month. It's just a few weeks after DBFZ releases, like one of the first big tournaments, right? And basically in the East you had SonicFox destroying everybody, and in the West you had Chris G destroying everybody. Everybody's saying that, you know, Sonic's offense is OD. Everyone's saying Chris G has the best defense, and you know, at the time he did, because Goichi hadn't really been overseas yet and proven that he was the most defensive player in existence. But yeah, Chris G was like one of the only players who could take Dragon Rush, and he had a very different play style from other people at the time. And well, you guys will see for yourselves just how different the game was back then and just what exactly took place. So this is top 32 of Winter Brawl, and they may or may not meet again later in brackets. So let's go ahead and check it out, man. I think you guys are gonna love this if you weren't around for this back then.
Of this tournament happening in top 16.
But I already explained to you the lore, so we're just gonna get straight into the matches. And these are the teams, by the way. These are the teams back then. So we have on SonicFox's side Goku Black, Android 16, and Hit, and on Chris G's side Trunks on point with Android 18 and Super Saiyan Vegeta, who by the way had the best assist in the game, 3. Back then. Hit A assist is as good as it's always been. Goku Black has the beam. 16's A assist was really good back then, and 16 was arguably the best character in the game and definitely one of the most powerful characters the game has ever seen. But let's get into it, man. I'm actually like, I'm such a DBFZ nerd, and I've been around for this since the beginning that I get really hyped just looking back at it. I'm wondering though if I should mute these or like turn the volume down a lot more like when I'm going over them. But as you can see, Sonic is off to a strong start, and I mean, even the UI of the game looks so different back then.
But it has a ton of blocking hits done. So
all right, Goku Black with no real mix back then. You would be surprised though with how much mileage SonicFox got out of instant transmission back then. But look at Chris G just committing to that defense, gets to reflect, vanish. You wouldn't see too many players do that nowadays. That'd be an easy 2H. Yeah, those were the old Trunks combos. That was Trunks' old B&B in the corner. The tag in Android 18, 17 for the Oki, back before they nerfed that move and she had a good mix off of it. Like not even doing the J2H into auto combo, because that was actually a bit more difficult with 18 back then. And Super Saiyan Vegeta assist was very different then than it was now, because once you blocked it, you had to keep blocking it. You know how now you can super dash through it or reflect it after you started blocking it? No matter where you were on screen, no matter which part of it you got caught by, if you started blocking Vegeta, you had to keep blocking it.
You can't get anything off of it, but it's really fast, relatively fast overhead at 20 frames.
Oh man. Oh, the tides of time coming through. No sliding knockdown, goes for a little reset to 5M. Raw tag, no punish.
Life about even here.
And I think that's one thing I remember a lot about this set. No real mix up there, and no EX flip. We like I said, we're very early on in the game's lifespan, so people playing pretty basic. And I don't know about you guys. But when I go back, and this is one of like my most rewatched sets in DBFZ, but when I go back and watch stuff like this, I'm just thinking to myself, man, if I could just go back in time with my skill now and go back to that time period, you know what I'm saying? Because I know you guys look at it like, man, they don't look that great at the game. But look, no sparking mix. Decent confirmed though. And also, you can see, you might have heard it, I know I'm over talking them and stuff, but they were really surprised to see Chris G spark so early on, because back then we pretty much saw sparking as only a comeback mechanic. It's gotten some changes over time to where now you can use it defensively. You couldn't use sparking when you were blocking back then. and people pretty much almost always saved it for their final character. Chris G was kind of like one of the pioneers of being like, no, I'm using this to keep my team alive. You know, you see that's what he did. Sonic gets hit by the overhead.
He activated Sparking with Trunks. Level 1. Okay.
Yeah, you were saying no one was doing that back then. We were always saving it for our third character. Nice command grab. Our combos were not very good back then. He easily could have killed there. He had 6 bars and an assist, and he didn't kill. But does manage to get the kill on Android 16. Like, you look at this now, it's like, you gotta remember, bro. You gotta remember, this is like shortly after the game came out. This is a few weeks after DBFZ had actually released. And these were considered the 2 best players at the time. It's just so crazy to think about. Missing a vanish combo, you know what I'm saying? Like, gotta hold that. Nice confirmed by Sonic. God Slicer. Brings in the hit. Sonic obviously still holding on to his sparking. Into the knockdown. No, it doesn't even go for the level 3 back then. I remember Trunks actually used to have better level 3 Oki, so when you were in the corner like that, you didn't have to vanish and do EX flip. Trunks actually pulled you out of the corner and you had better Oki off his level 3. Spends a bunch of bar, gets the kill very easily on hit, and Chris G is still with his entire team alive in this first game against Sonic. And seeing Sonic lose to somebody like to this degree was insane, because obviously Goichi hadn't been on the scene just yet. We hadn't seen the 2 gods of the countries collide, and Sonic was just destroying everybody. But Chris G was top 16 came through. Well, first game was kind of a wash. I shouldn't say a wash, but it was very easily in Chris G's favor. And I remember watching this live and just like losing, because I'm like, yo, like I you didn't know how it was gonna go. I definitely had my money on Sonic at the time, but Chris G proving that he was no slouch.
And that goes to show like that
hit aces, putting in work even back then.
Actually paid off very well. So that's something I think I want to mess around with. Not just saving it for level 3 combats. Yeah, that mix-up actually worked on a lot of people back then, but obviously that's something that we'd react to pretty easily these days. But at the time, Chris G was one of the only people I ever saw block that. Like I said, Sonic was getting a lot of mileage out of instant transmission, just saying same side or going cross-up, and then tech the Dragon Rush. Chris G has not been hit by a single Dragon Rush.
Chris G was like one of the only people teching Dragon Rushes back then. Baits out the reflect.
Chris G with a punish. What's he gonna go for here?
What a combo.
And they're impressed by this combo. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had so much to learn. We had so much to learn. They were actually impressed by that combo.
And that he's wasted to be only used as an assist, and that he's not good on point.
So I don't know how well you can hear the commentators, but that's another thing to take note of. At the time, a lot of people considered Vegeta obviously one of the best characters because his assist was hands down the best. And Sonic went on record to say Super Saiyan Vegeta is trash. People just use him for the assist. And I don't think Vegeta was trash, but I also don't think he was amazing. It really was mostly the assist, because Vegeta always has been and still is a very basic and vanilla character. Granted, a lot of things were way more basic in this game back then. Again, the command grab.
Brother and sister working together.
Vanishing out of the corner. You don't see a lot of that high level play these days. ID. Ooh, the 2M.
Overhead, and that's a big damage starter for hit 2. You want the 16 assists to follow up, but good damage.
Into level 3, and this is back when Android 16 had stupid Oki off his level 3. Android 16 got crazy makes off of this back then. So time to guess for character. Cross up. Oh, doesn't get the combo though.
And there's a sparking, a lot of blue life.
And Sonic not spending that sparking. You can see like this is a scenario where a lot of times like we would spark now. Like most players in this situation would spark, but that's just not how most people played back then. And that was actually something I remember Sonic going on record to say that threw them off a lot after this set, was that the fact that Chris G spent spark so early was like really surprising to them, because this is not how everyone was playing at the time.
Well, he had actually a lot of meter. I was going to mention the sparking meter game as well.
So SonicFox now sparking at level 2.
Goes for the cross up, Chris G vanishing out. Went for the tick throw, I think, but ended up whiffing the auto combo. Man, good times. I get all nostalgic watching this old gameplay and stuff, man. Raw tag into the hit, no punish. And that's another thing too. I remember watching this at the time and being like really surprised at how few Dragon Rushes, or not Dragon Rushes, how few super dashes and raw tags got 2H'd and punished. Nice 5 down. And that should be a dead Android 18, level 1 into level 3.
So level 3, that will kill 18.
Level 1 might have been enough, but spending the level 3 for the insurance. And you know what's funny? I remember Leffen. I know a lot of guys have very polarizing opinions on Leffen. Personally, I mess with Leffen. But I know some people don't. But back then, Leffen was actually by far the best player in Europe. But I know that might be crazy for somebody to think about now, especially if you weren't here back then. But Leffen was the best player in Europe for sure. And I remember them reviewing this set and looking over it, and him also being extremely surprised by how few 2Hs there were on raw tags and super dashes. I remember watching his stream after this tournament, him talking about that, and I remember like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Ooh, Sonic tried to wake up Mash. It's gonna be the end of Hit.
So I wonder if SonicFox tried to, he delayed tech, but I wonder if he tried to do counter on wake up. He didn't get counter hit, so I don't know what he did there, but he got hit by me.
The X grab, rocket kick, reflex, and the raw tag. Vanish combo doesn't have assist or bar here. Can't get sliding knockdown in any way. You couldn't even do key blast into JS back then either.
No,
into the EX command grab. This is before some of the nerfs 16 got.
Opted for an EX slam, so he won't have. He didn't get the hard knockdown, and Christian able to reset back into neutral, where he is more competent. Just chill out.
Sonic 16 was so scary back then, but everyone's 16 was, but Sonic was the best 16 at the time. So super dash, no go, and Chris G takes it 2-0 over SonicFox. Now, this is not the end of this tournament, of this set, of this rivalry, of this video, because this was top 16, and in true SonicFox fashion, Sonic went down to the loser side of the bracket and made their way all the way back to face off against Chris G in grand finals. And it would be very YouTuber of me to tell you guys that, hey, you're gonna have to get this many likes on the video and then we'll get into the next part. And this video might end up being pretty long, but we're gonna go to the grand final set because Chris G and Sonic faced off again, and I think you're gonna like this. Man, yipes! Look at the older roster, bro. Look at how few DLC. How many characters we had back then? Like 24 at launch. How things have changed. How things have changed. Anyway, so here we are, grand finals, Winter Brawl 2018, Winter Brawl 12, Chris G versus Sonic.
That's my appointment.
I miss having Chris Matrix and Yipes on commentary for DBFZ, man. Such good times. Such good times. Anyway, so after Sonic ran their way back through the loser side of the bracket, everyone was extremely hype for the run back. Man, I get so excited just thinking about it, looking back on it, right? It's like I don't want to. Anyway, just watch. Just let's just take a look at watch what happened. Let's take a look at watch what happened. And obviously, I was really excited to watch Chris G play because he was playing Trunks. You know what I'm saying? At the time, even back then, Trunks wasn't like a super popular character, but you saw him a lot more back then than you do now. Shout out to Moke, who was my favorite DBFZ player and the best Trunks player in the world. He was incredible all through Season 1 and then kind of stopped playing the game in Season 2. Long story short, he swapped like esports teams and moved away from Tokyo and then focused on Street Fighter instead. He will be missed. But yeah, Punk used to play DBFZ even back then. I know a lot of people don't know that, but Punk did play DBFZ when it first came out, and he played Trunks, Summon Vegeta, I'm pretty sure. Chris G played Trunks. Was it Breaker Dave or Dacid Bro? One of them played Trunks. I know Breaker Dave played Majin Buu if I'm not mistaken, but it might have been Dacid Bro I'm thinking of. And as a few, I know LK experimented with Trunks back then. I've always played the character. But anyway, enough about that. Back to the match. You can see things are pretty even right here. Sonic definitely has the meter advantage. Important thing to note, since Sonic was sent to the loser side of the bracket, this is standard tournament rules, so a lot of you so smart to avoid the assist. Sonic is a genius. Important thing to note, this is standard tournament practice, so a lot of you guys already know this, but I'm telling you. But if you don't know, since Sonic is on the loser side of the bracket, in order to win this tournament, he would have to win 3 games against Chris G before Chris G wins 3 games, and then win 3 more. So you'd have to, reset the bracket in order to fully win, since he's coming from the loser side in a double elimination tournament.
Oh, okay. Right, actually got across, so got to the other side.
I'll reflect on the vanish, no 2H either. The 2L, and yeah, it's Chris G. Just this is getting a beating from Hit, man. A lot of players that, and honestly even to this day, but a lot of players did not know how to deal with Hit back then. And for me, watching Hit was always when Sonic was the most enjoyable to watch. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but DBFZ was the most exciting in the first 2 seasons, and my favorite teams to watch Sonic play were this team and the Hit Bardock 16 team. Even though I was never a big 16 fan, just watching them play Hit was always crazy to me because they dominated whenever they played that character. And it's someone I always wanted to see them return to. But obviously, they're way better characters. But as you can see, Sonic turning things around completely from that top 16 set. Chris G not even really had a chance to spend his spark and to keep his team alive. And that dive kick's actually negative there, but Sonic respected it and did tech the DR. Defense obviously not nearly as strong back then. Offense was better in the game back then. Defense was weaker in the game back then. And also as players, we were better at offense and defense. Ooh, again the reflect, but not punished this time. Vanish, no reflect.
Fighting a big body like Scott Steiner. They popping off.
Man, such good times. The key blast, that's confirmed for Chris G.
What can he do with this though?
Oh, actually gets crossed up. Chris G tried to mash something there. Might have been trying to option select, or maybe tried to push a 2H of some sort. But 16 assists and hit assist actually have pretty decent blocks, especially 16 assists. 16 assists was really good back then. Nice 2H on the cross up. 16 assists had like true lockdown back then. It was very common for people to run 16 on anchor because he was one of the best anchors in the game at the time. And honestly, you could take that version of 16 and put him in the game right now, and he'd be the best anchor in the game easily. Wow, what a challenge. Oh, the command grab catches the vanish. Oh man, I'm like debating right now with myself if I should show every single match in the set or if I should skip through it or what. But yeah, sparking, command grab, into the hit level 3. This is the stance. And if you've ever seen _/_/, it came from Sonic. This is the stance. It was from when Sonic played Hit. That's where that came from. That's why you always see people do that and type that in Twitch chats and in YouTube comments and stuff. Yeah, bad. She would no confirm off that jam. Hit assist. No meter to vanish. Avoids the Vegeta assist. Nice stuff. 16 assist to lock him down. Gets counter hit. That's going to be an easy confirm for Sonic. Also, I did mention that I'm live on Twitch right now as I'm recording. So someone in the chat just mentioned that maybe I could skip through the supers, and that could cut down on some of the time for sure. So maybe we will do that. Just shave off a few seconds here and there. And again, no 2H on the raw tag, but the jam finds the backdash. The counter. Lockdown, 2L, the 5M. Voice of Heat assist, 5M whiffs. Again, the super dash goes unpunished. The 2M. And that was the big meme following this set. That's going to be a reoccurring thing you see is how often Chris G actually gets hit by that 2M. And it's especially surprising considering how good Chris G's reactions were and how he was considered the best defensive player in the game at the time. And obviously hits 2M notorious for being incredibly slow. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's 27 or 29 frames off the top of my head. The wake up level 3 beats the 2L from Chris G. We can skip through it though. You can see Sonic ended up going for a raw tag. Super dash finds its mark. Vanish combo. We weren't even doing 2Ms and the 5Ms back then. It was straight 5Ms. Goes for the mix up, and again Chris G getting counter hit, not blocking the cross up this time. Defense not holding up nearly as well as it did in the top 16 set. Into level 3, into guess for character. You gotta guess like so many different options. You gotta guess high, you gotta guess low, cross up high, cross up low, as well as Dragon Rush, as well as command grab. Waits for something, and Chris G just holds tag, which is something we did not know how to deal with back then. Again, no challenge or no vanish. I mean, no reflect on the vanish. Goes for the challenge though. Ends up getting counter hit. Again, another mash from Sonic results in them getting hit by a 2M. And that should be the end of Android 16. Also, it might not look like it, but that Trunks combo was actually pretty hard. Trunks has always been, that level 3 was so unnecessary, but it is what it is. Trunks has always been one of the more difficult characters in the game, and that B&B might not look so super difficult, but it was actually pretty hard back then. Trunks combos have gotten way easier because they buffed like his Key Blast and stuff, like his Cyclone Buster. But that was not that easy of a combo, especially for a B&B. Like other characters were using much simpler B&Bs at the time.
That was good thing.
I like that. Even
Nice
though they
dive
block
kick.
it's still
for
keeping
him.
them in check. Regardless.
Again, 5M conversion instead of like auto combo or something like we would see today.
Be out of there. Advantage. Get your dragon.
Nice walkout.
Oh, he moved. All right, reset the neutral. That man is backing off.
Also, I feel like barrier assist is something that hasn't come into play very much at all in this set. Because barrier assist was something that was just considered basically garbage and useless back then. Not much has changed. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Barrier assist is obviously like solid, but like 18 has never been a popular character, and like even the people who did play her or when she did show up, people were just like, yeah, she basically doesn't have an assist. Barrier was considered extremely weak back then. Opinions on that have changed a lot over time, but yeah.
Oh, got 2/3.
The level 3 on the raw tag. Let's go ahead and skip through that.
And he sparked up. Wow, that took a clean half.
Just empty jump into nothing, and another 2M from hit finds his mark. Down goes Vegeta. Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, Chris G had a huge lead, and just like that, it's gone. No empty vanish. Again, Chris G just mashing a lot. I actually don't know what it was Chris G was doing back then. I don't know if they were trying to option select or if they just were really trying to mash vanish, because mashing vanish was a lot more common back then to escape pressure, like defensively on wake up or in block strings. And I don't know. They were just getting hit, and they were doing such a good job when they were just blocking it instead of trying to mash out. Again, another. I gotta imagine it was vanish, because Chris G has been mashing vanish a lot defensively in this set.
Guys are just jumping all over the place. He's trying to get that ground.
Black and Neil is going to try to sneak and hit, because he's been doing that.
Boom.
He's going to land his hard knockdown first and then get him. And then get him in.
Notice the lack of use of Shining Slash. You guys know, as a Trunks player, I use that move constantly. But again, we're still figuring the game out. We're still learning, and you know, things were still developing at the time.
Got the advantage. Wow, my man Chris G just gracefully backs off with a double jump.
It's neutral. The Tides of Time finds its mark into auto combo. Super dash, go for the soft knockdown, went for the air to air, no dice, the walkout.
He wasn't ready, and he has that level 3 available.
Now here's the thing. Yeah. We weren't too adept at doing that back then. I don't remember if that was much more difficult to do at the time. It might have been. And Trunks is still alive too. Wait a minute, he's coming down to the wire. Oh no, Trunks has always been trash, as you can tell. Oh, but he didn't vanish. He didn't confirm it. He didn't confirm it. No JS, no counter on the vanish. Oh, and the 2L finds its mark, and Sonic clutches victory from the jaws of defeat, the luckiest fighting game player on top of being the most OD fighting game player. I've said it before, while Sonic might arguably be the most skilled, the most talented fighting game player of all time, they're also the luckiest, because I don't know about you guys, but I've been watching SonicFox for a long time now, and I feel like nobody has better luck with their opponent fumbling the bag and like getting nervous or dropping combos or messing up setups than Sonic does. Like, I've seen Sonic like luck out so often like that in their career. But anyway, I digress. That's 2 games straight for Sonic, taking it to a game 3. One more win for Sonic, and that means that they reset the bracket here in this grand finals, and they have to win 3 more in order to take this set and win the tournament over Chris G. But it's insane. It's insane. Locks it to him this time. Yeah, we're calling this set play. Now nobody's getting hit by any of this Goku back flip, you know what I'm saying? Especially the high level players. We're blocking all of that these days. But finds the hit again. And that's going to be the end of Super Saiyan Vegeta. To level 1. The super was not a reversal, nor did it teleport back then. Granted, those are pretty recent changes, so you probably knew that. But 3 bars spent, Super Saiyan Vegeta goes down, and Super Saiyan Vegeta is the true anchor of this team. He is what pulls this team together. So with Vegeta dying first, it spells a lot of trouble for Chris G, because that's his neutral, that's his block stun, that's his combo tool. That's it. Vegeta is the glue of that team. So once I saw Vegeta go down in this match, I was like, all right, bro, this is it's probably gonna be a tech on the Dragon Rush, but it doesn't matter. The command grab, ooh, into a hard knockdown. Time to guess. Another one sparks up though. Sonic tried to challenge, but she finds the hit but drops the combo. Plus frames on the vanish. Vanishes out. And the 2H on the overhead. They knew. Command grab, hit assist. Boom. Another one. Dunk him. Into level 3. into time to guess. Sonic has sparking here, so if they do pop the sparking after getting the hit after the mix, goes for the 2M. 2H again. Chris G just abusing that vanish way too much, and SonicFox catching onto it really well. It's another thing. That's another compliment I want to give to Sonic, is that I feel like they have shown me more than any other player their ability to adapt and adjust and overcome players who have beaten them in the past. And I've seen Sonic do this in so many tournaments where they lose to somebody and like a top 32, a top 16, or maybe even sometimes a top 8, and then run it back in losers. And as you can see, things are extremely one-sided and very dominant for SonicFox here in the first part of this grand finals, as they get the final hit on Chris G. Level 1 into another level 1 to reset the bracket 3-0 over Chris G after losing to him 2-0 earlier in top 16. Man. And so we proceed on to the winner side. Sonic looking poised as ever. Chris G looking like he going through it. Christopher Genius going through. Sonic's like, yo, we can get this show on the road. We can get this show on the road for real, you feel me? And then we go into the 4th game in the reset bracket. Both players now in losers. Who will take it? And like I said, this is nothing new, so a lot of you guys probably already know. And like, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's people in my chat right now who've never seen this set before. You might have an idea where this is going. But yeah, good times, man. Good times. Again, another raw tag unpunished. Nice blocks. Also, you hear that? This was the meta back then. Funny imagining these characters. Can you imagine Super Saiyan Vegeta being the meta? If you're a player who started playing the game in season 2 or 3, or whatever you want to call this current version, can you imagine Super Saiyan Vegeta being at 16 being the meta? I consider the 2 best characters in the game, which Super Saiyan Vegeta was absolutely not top 2 or even top 5, but that was the thought at the time. If you want to ask me, at this point in the game, wow, what a tech! And the Trunks assist came out. Top 5 characters at this time of the game had to be 16, Kid Buu, Gotenks, even though we didn't know it yet. Yohozi knew it, but no one else knew it. 16, Kid Buu, Gotenks, Adult Gohan, and Bardock wasn't out yet. I kind of want to say Cell, but I don't think it was Cell. And I do mean Adult Gohan, not Teen Gohan. Teen Gohan was considered very, very, very bad at the time. Honestly, Piccolo was a pretty solid contender. People did not really know anything at all about Piccolo back then. Apology Man and Hook were playing the character, and like Hook was washing people at like NLBC and stuff, but we did not know the true strengths of Piccolo. And it's funny too, because at this time Piccolo was considered pretty weak and lower tier and not very good. But they kept nerfing Piccolo. Like Piccolo was getting changes that were nerfs, and we didn't understand why. And it's funny now to look back and realize like Piccolo got all those nerfs and then ended up still being as good as he actually was once we learned more about him. Because it's like, damn, how good would Piccolo have been without those changes, without those nerfs? Another tech on the Dragon Rush, Chris G. And there's finally a 2H punish. Goes for the snap here. Snap Oki was actually much stronger back then. Wow, what if that JH was crazy. The backdash on the plus frames. I don't think the snap was worth it there. I think Sonic might have been able to get the kill there but obviously we didn't know about certain things back then. The 2-1-4M on Oki. Super dash, but no confirm. At the time, whiffs, Destructo Disc, Key Blast into Vanish. 2M, 5M, there we go. No J2Hs though. Wow, that was crazy. Oh god. Man. I actually went back and got to play. Wow.
That reaches, I was about
wow.
Covered?
Oh yeah,
goodbye 18. Oh no, the tag was too slow.
Of course. I mean, that situation completely would be
gotta hold that. The mix up there could have been crazy, but we just didn't know back then. We just didn't know. Like Android 18 with Super Saiyan Vegeta A assist in the OG version of the game, that mix is insane. Bro, Android, what a 2H on the raw attack, but Android 18 with old school Vegeta A assist and unnerfed J2-4M, the mix there is OD. Or even just Super Dash plus assist, but again, we didn't know about stuff like that back then. But actually got a chance to go back and play the vanilla version of DBFZ when I went out to Vegas for Evo, because Dion actually had a PS5 that hadn't ever been updated, obviously, with the latest version of Dragon Ball, right? So you had a disc version of it and it wasn't updated. We disconnected from the internet, and so we got to play vanilla DBFZ, and I had so much fun. I had so much fun playing the old Android 18. I actually played Chris G's team of Android 18. Well, obviously I played it in the order that you would expect to see it now, where I played 18 Trunks Vegeta, and I was going ham. I was going ham. Because I remembered all the old mechanics. Like I was playing with Dotto and Dion, and you know, I was mixing them. I was snap looping them. It was the works. It was a great time. But Sonic, 4 games straight over Chris G. Chris G just unable to get a word in edgewise. Round start 2H double Sunday combo into the level 1. Again, these days that would have been a spark into a TOD on the Vegeta, but we just didn't know back then, you know what I'm saying? Chris G with another tech on the Dragon Rush into God Slicer.
But the thing is, can Chris G even get to play?
Yeah, Chris G has not had a chance to play for the most part in these games.
Here's just the character to do it with.
Boom, boom, boom. It's caught by the Vegeta assist. No confirm though. Only JH tagging a hit. Soft knockdown. Goes for the snap, bringing that 3% Vegeta, get that blue F and get rid of the assist. Like I said, this is the glue of Chris G's team. You take away the Super Saiyan Vegeta, it becomes much more difficult for 18 and Trunks to play. Falling Jam finds its mark though.
This is where the
Boom, boom. Wake up IAD, avoids the 2M, ties the time, it's a vanish combo, drops it though. Jesus. Arius is actually putting into a little bit of work, but Chris G not able to properly confirm. These boys are scrapping. These boys are scrapping. Also funny too, because like there are some players who still play like this to this day, but now we would consider them like really bad. But at the time, these were the 2 best players in the country. Another tech on the DR. You can see Chris G actually tech that Dragon Rush with Dragon Rush. You saw Trunks. You saw, yeah. You see if you look closely. Like he just knew that was coming.
The high level for Chris G's head. He can't get it going like SonicFox is. Don't
boom,
disrespect him,
level 1.
This is looking
Level
difficult.
1. Down goes Trunks
This
after
is
16.
grade A harassment.
Harassment. Hey, Chris Matrix and Yes had the best commentary back then, bro.
Oh gosh.
Good times. The rocket kick, what a confirmed by Chris G. Yeah, you see a lot of soft knockdowns back then. Boom, boom, boom. I actually don't remember what Android 18 level 3 Oki was like back then. But you can see there's a lack of level 3s.
Okay, he's waking up here a little bit. Okay. I agree.
Level 3.
Don't let him go to work.
Not much has changed with Android 18 level 3 over time, from what I remember. They just ran forward, called Vegeta assist. Sonic tries to counter, or tries to challenge rather. He's blown up for it. Chris G evening things up, but you know. Ooh, what a whiff punish. Hey, can you believe Chris G sparked on that combo? You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been such an easy kill without sparking. But again, we didn't have the facilities back. We didn't know. You were still late.
Chris is looking comfortable. Huxtable. Oh wow, disrespecting it. They strike the
Ooh, the cross up on this mark. No confirm. And another 2M from hit. Chris G, what are you standing up for? Knockdown into level 3. Freeze the spark meter. Or not the meter, but freeze the health regen. Run out the spark time. Doesn't get the kill. Run up. Avoids the DP. Second hit of auto combo into 236L. And notice Sonic still has their sparking. And there's no limit break back then, so like one combo from 18 is not going to be enough here. Gets hit by another 2M. Spark. Empty vanish. Yes, sir. Gonna build hella bar here into level 3. And that's going to be Sonic taking 5 games straight over Chris G. And I think it comes as zero surprise as to what's about to happen next. I mean, should we even play out the full game? I mean, you guys, I think you guys get the point. If you want to see the full game, this tournament will be linked in the description down below. But I think you all know where this is going. I've shown plenty for the day. You can see things looking pretty one-sided for Sonic. Sonic says they're sparking. Chris G does not. They have the health lead. They have the meter advantage here. And empty vanish, the air dash into the overhead. Down goes Chris G's Trunks. Solo 18 not looking very likely with his comeback, especially not against the likes of Android 16, who is, like I said, arguably the best character in the game at the time. It's looking long for men, as the Masters would say. Distance, extension. You feel me? Oh my god, that would have been such a crazy confirm.
Will this be the end for
Messes
our
up the
hero?
mix-up. Structo disc, no vanish. Band grab
Now
whiffs.
struggle, there is no
2H.
Oh my god.
This kid's
Dunk
good.
him. Beam.
This kid's
Super
good.
dash.
He's too good.
Get the
Dunk
trophy
him.
ready.
Looking at
Level
the
1.
Winter
Into
Brawl.
Goku Black level 3. SonicFox with
we
the
got
6-0.
We got pop-off.
The instant transmission
Oh,
off the
freaking go.
screen. SonicFox after losing 2-0 to Chris G in Winter's Side top 16.
3-0-3-0.
Give me my handshake. GG's. 6-0s Chris G and takes Winter Brawl 2018. I know this was a super long video, but man, that was a lot of fun and I would love to do this for more. They won't all be this long. This one I feel like had to be this long because you needed the full lore, you need the full story, and it's kind of like a two-part thing where you got to see Sonic lose to Chris G 2-0 in that top 16 and then come back with the adaptations and 6-0 in that grand finals. I think like you need that whole thing, but in the future some of these will only be like, you know, 12-15 minutes because it'll be shorter sets, whatever. But yeah, man, good times. The Road Dogs, Chris G and Yipes. I mean Chris G, Chris Matrix and Yipes, man.
No, I already know.
Oh.
One thing, Goichi, omae wa mu shinderu.
And thus the rivalry between SonicFox and Goichi was born. So yeah, I have a few ideas for sure of more sets I want to go back and take a look at, and just review and analyze and just kind of be nostalgic and reminisce over. But you guys let me know if you're somebody who's been around since 2018, since the beginning of Dragon Ball FighterZ. What are some of the best sets that you would like to see? Like I said, I already got several in mind. Final round, the first attempt with Sonic and Goichi, the Evo, like so many. There's so many other great ones. Of course, Goichi and Leffen is a big one. Yeah, I think this was a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to smack a like on this one because it's going to be greatly appreciated and very helpful to this series if you want to see more. Any comments, leave them down below. Hit this video like if you did. It says already. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all this content that I'm bringing you. With all that being said, it's pretty much off today, and remember, nothing can happen to you. Bad. Later.